Fresh Life Impact Teams, I hope you are having a fantastic day. I just want to say thank you real quick for spending some time at whatever gathering you're at. Some of you guys are in a living room, some of you are in a kid's classroom upstairs on the Strand, some of you are in the Strand. Wherever you're at, thank you, and if you're watching this at home, thanks for being home. Regardless, I just want you to know how thankful Allie and I are for each of you and the part that you play on this team. The point of tonight, if your coordinators didn't already tell you, is really just to kind of have some heart and some vision for our teams. You know, we recognize a lot of times we define kind of what we're doing. You probably understand like what role you play at the church, I hope. If you don't, email your coordinator. But you also probably understand the why. Like, hey, here's why we're here. We're here so that we can see people who are stranded in sin find life and liberty in Jesus Christ. We're here so that guests feel welcome. We're here so that people are ushered into the presence of God, or whatever team you're on. It's a little different, but it all points to the same ultimate vision. So that's the why. But I think something that we've never really defined as a church for our impact teams is the who. Who are we fighting to be? And so that's really the point of tonight. We had different name ideas for it. It was like Vision Night or Identity Night, or maybe we'll just call it the Who Night. Like, this is the Who Night. Welcome. So here's the who in a nutshell. I just kind of wanted to lay out. I'm going to share these on a general sense that we as a staff are called to be defined by. We're going to call all of our coordinators to be defined by. And then for all of our impact team members, essentially, because you are a part of helping lead Fresh Life Church, which is exactly what you're doing. Servant leaders is what we all are. So as servant leaders, these are 7 things that we want to be defined by, the who of Fresh Life Impact Teams. And there's 7 items, and I'll go over them, like I said, in a general sense, and then our coordinators are all going to kind of take these and translate them into what they might look like for your team. So here's the 7. Are you ready? Doesn't matter, because this is a video, and I can't tell if you said yes, but I'm going to assume that you're ready. The first is this, that we're driven. That we're driven. As Fresh Life staff, as Fresh Life team coordinators, as a Fresh Life Impact team member, we are driven. And really the heartbeat of this is that we are going to be people who have to have the brakes pushed on us, not the gas. So whatever role you're in, whatever job you have, whatever you're doing, you're the kind of person who's going to take initiative, who's going to be a driver. You're going to be somebody who's pushing everyone forward, everything forward, and you're pushing the people around you forward, taking initiative, solving problems, being proactive. And I would far rather have to say, hey, maybe let's chill out a little bit on that, as opposed to hey, let's not the opposite of chill out on that. So that's what driven. We're driven. We want every single one of our team members to be driven. The second thing is humble. Humble. And really the heartbeat behind this is that we understand that everything we've been given, every responsibility we've been given, every gift that we've been given comes from God. And I love that thought of everything coming from Him, being for Him, and being to Him. So everything you have, everything you are exists to glorify God. And so we understand that as team members, and humility is the byproduct of that. And so your coordinators will talk about what this looks like in your role. What comes to mind for me personally has just been the understanding that the success of our church and the hardship of our church doesn't hinge on me. This is God's church. And so as I'm stewarding what He's given me, there's a humility that comes when I understand I'm just a person and you're just a person, and whatever role you're in, maybe this looks a little different, but we want to be humble. So driven is the first one. Humble is the second one. And even if we just had those 2, I think that would be a powerhouse of a team. But we've got 5 more that we want to fight for. So the third is coachable. Coachable. And the real thought behind this is we want to be people who are eager to receive coaching and receive it in a way that receives it well, and not defensive or frustrated or whatever. We want to be people who can receive coaching, and on every level of our organization, we want this to be built in so that we are all getting better simultaneously. And the reason for coaching is because this matters. What God is doing here really, really matters. And because it matters, we think we should do it as best as we possibly can. So your coordinators will talk about what this looks like for you. But at some point, you might get pulled aside and say, hey, I know you were doing this way. Maybe try it this way. Or hey, I know that you really enjoy talking to the people that you know, but we're here so that we can engage new people. So maybe try to get out of your comfort zone and talk to someone new. Whatever it is, coaching is going to happen, and we want to be coachable people. So driven, humble, coachable, resilient is the fourth one. We want to be resilient. And if you've been a part of Fresh Life, as you have for more than like 6 seconds, you know that resilience is needed because things change, stuff happens. We're always trying new things. And a friend of mine used to say, "Blessed are the flexible, for they shall not be broken." And I think this is kind of the heart of what we want to be. We want to be resilient. As stuff comes up, it's like, hey, we'll figure it out. We're going to work through this problem. This is kind of the heartbeat behind that code item of being a snake bird. We're going to be somebody who can see problems coming and maneuver and adjust accordingly. And there's a resilience that comes from that drive that we have as we're moving forward. No matter what comes and hits us, we're going to keep driving forward and keep adjusting accordingly and not let little things or little changes or our opinion keep us from ultimately where we're going. So driven, humble, coachable, resilient. The next one is comfortable in your own skin. Comfortable in your own skin. Pastor Levi used to say that we need to have sweatpants on the inside. And this is kind of the thought that no matter what we're invited to or what we're not invited to, or maybe you see friends that went out, this doesn't just apply to what you do on the weekends. This applies to our lives. Like, we want to be people who, it's like, yeah, I can celebrate somebody else's success, or maybe somebody had a birthday party that you didn't get invited to. I don't know if people still care about that at the age that we are, but maybe they do. Whatever the case is, like, we want to be the kind of people who know what God has called us to. We know who God has called us to be. And when that's the case, we can be comfortable in our own skin and have that relaxed confidence of people who know their identity in God and can rest in that. And this will look different for each of you, but I think we can be a team that is called and charged with being comfortable in our own skin. The next is socially smart. Socially smart. So we're driven, humble, coachable, resilient, comfortable in our own skin, and socially smart. And in a nutshell, this is really just the idea of being able to read a room or read a situation and adjust accordingly. I think we've all had conversations probably with people who don't take social cues, or like if you're in a hurry to get somewhere, it's like, oh, yeah, good to see you, I gotta go. But they kind of corner you and keep talking, And so maybe this for you looks like the ability to grow in your conversational abilities, or as a worship leader, like keeping your eyes open and being, I'm doing your coordinator's job. They're going to talk about what this looks like for your team. But generally speaking, this is the idea that you have the ability to see a situation, see an environment, and adjust accordingly. And then the last one, I'm going to try to recap all 7 of these. But the last one, fun-loving. This is my favorite one. So we're driven, we're humble, we're coachable, we're resilient, we're comfortable in our own skin, we're socially smart, and we are fun-loving. And if you have spent any time with me, you know that I love having fun. So this is not one I struggle with. But this is something I want our church to just be defined by. Like, all through Scripture, there's commands on Christians to be joyful. We have to rejoice. We have to make noise. We have to clap. We want to have a good time. And there is nowhere on earth that we should have more fun than when we're in church, because we're with a bunch of other people who've experienced the joy and the grace and the goodness of God. And that should produce joy. It should produce happiness. No matter what the circumstances of life are, we have the ability to be fun-loving at all times because our God invented fun. And He loves us, and He's called us to do that same thing. And so as a team, I really want us to, like, when people walk through our doors, they should be like, okay, I might not even believe what they believe, but at least they have a really good time doing it. And I really want that to be marked on us as we move forward. So I'll just recap them real quick. Driven, humble, coachable, resilient, comfortable in your own skin, socially smart, and fun-loving. And right now I'm going to turn it over to your coordinators to kind of contextualize this. And I would encourage you, even as you leave or you think about these things, think about what this can look like for you. What is for you the idea of driven kind of bring to mind? What does this look like as you're thinking about whatever role you're in? What can you do to take initiative? Or maybe it's comfortable in your own skin. Where are you not comfortable in your own skin that you can grow into? That's been a challenge for me at times to be able to grow in that confidence, the true self-confidence that it takes to have a relaxed posture even when other things are happening that I might not feel like I'm included in, or maybe it's fun loving. Like, yeah, you are consistent, but maybe you come on the weekends. It's like, yep, welcome, hello. I don't know what your deal is, but we all have different things that we need to work on. And the idea is we're not going to crush it in all 7 of these categories, because I think the only person who did probably was Jesus. So there's going to be areas where you're stronger or weaker, but my encouragement to you as you're talking through this with your coordinators is just to think about what this looks like for you. And these are going to be things that we really want to be known for as we move forward, not just the what of what we're doing, not just the why we're doing it, but also who we are called to be as we're serving God, because the who is oftentimes even more important than the what. And so I hope that this made sense, and I'll turn it over to your coordinators now. God bless you guys.